Good evening, dear viewers. You are watching a special broadcast with Jolly Odilova. As previously reported, President Ilham Aliyev is on a working visit to the United States. This visit and its outcomes are currently being actively discussed in the media of countries showing interest in our region: Russia, Turkey, Iran, China, as well as the member states of the European Union. Various opinions and speculations are being voiced. Baku TV is also joining the discussion of this important topic. Right now, we are connecting live to Washington, where political analyst Ahmad Shahidov is with us to answer some of our pressing questions. Good evening, Mr. Shahidov.
Good evening.
How is the preparation going for the meeting between President Ilham Aliyev and Donald Trump, which will take place in Washington?
I welcome all Baku TV viewers from Washington. I am currently standing outside the White House. This morning, the President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, arrived in Washington. Today, the main item on the White House agenda is the upcoming meeting between the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia, which is scheduled to take place tomorrow. Statements regarding tomorrow's meeting have already begun to emerge. There is a very positive atmosphere in Washington regarding the upcoming meeting, and there is growing confidence that peace may finally be achieved in the South Caucasus. During his election campaign, Donald Trump made a number of promises, including the resolution of global conflicts and the establishment of peace. Now, the peace initiative between Azerbaijan and Armenia is also coming from Washington. In fact, work in this direction began a little earlier. You may recall that back in late February of this year, the US President's Special Representative, Steve Witkoff, visited Baku and met with Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. He then traveled to Armenia, where he met with Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Later, a US delegation visited the region, traveling to both Azerbaijan and Armenia. Most recently, the meeting between the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia in Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago, according to the White House, was also organized on the initiative and with the support of the United States. All of these steps have essentially led to the final phase, which is expected to take place tomorrow. So, what are the expectations? Of course, a final peace treaty between the parties will not be signed tomorrow. That is a lengthy process. However, unlike previous meetings held in cities such as Moscow, Brussels, Prague, St. Petersburg, and others, tomorrow's meeting could mark a turning point. While the peace treaty itself will not be signed, a highly important and equally significant document will be. One that could lead to the establishment of peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan. First and foremost, a protocol of intent will be signed, a roadmap-style document under which Armenia and Azerbaijan will mutually recognize each other's territorial integrity. The inviolability of borders will be affirmed, along with commitments from both sides not to make territorial claims against one another domestically, internationally, or through any international organization. The sides will also agree to take joint steps to prepare their populations for peace and reconciliation. The next key issue, one that Azerbaijan has raised for many years, is the abandonment of the OSCE Minsk group. It is expected that this will be included in the document to be signed tomorrow by the foreign ministers of Azerbaijan and Armenia at the White House. Following this, bilateral agreements will be signed between the US and Armenia, and separately between the US and Azerbaijan, aimed at further developing political, economic, trade, and diplomatic relations. One of the main issues that has been actively discussed for months, even years, in both Azerbaijan and Armenia is the Zangezur corridor. According to behind-the-scenes information from the White House and the US State Department, discussions on this topic have already begun. It is said that the term corridor entered common usage after the Trilateral Agreement of November 10, 2020, between Russia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, and that the term was proposed by Russia and has a largely political connotation. For this reason, it is now proposed to change the name. It is being referred to as the Trump Route. However, it is important to note one key detail. The Trump Route designation appears only in the agreement between Armenia and the United States. Just a few weeks ago, during the Shusha Global Media Forum held in Karabakh, in Konkendi, President Ilham Aliyev made it clear that Azerbaijan is independently managing all necessary infrastructure on its territory, including transportation hubs and other logistics projects related to the Zangezur corridor. Azerbaijan does not require the involvement of any second or third country or their companies. However, the Armenian side signed a separate agreement with the United States on this issue. It is this agreement that is being referred to as the Trump Route. According to the document, the two countries will jointly participate in the funding, management, and oversight of the road that runs through Armenian territory. In this context, the term Trump route refers only to the portion of the route that passes through Armenia. It does not involve any militarized facilities or military presence. It is purely a matter of financing, management, and control mechanisms between Armenia and the US. Against this backdrop, tomorrow's meeting raises great hopes. Even in Washington and within the White House, there is a belief that it could mark a turning point on the path toward establishing peace in the South Caucasus.